Give me what I want. Give me what I want. You know what I want. Give me what I want, or I'm going to continue to hurt people you love. Give me what I want. Give me what I want. You know what I want. You just don't want to give it to me. Give it to me. Give me what I want.
We're going to give you what you want.
That's not what I want.
What's up? What's up? Hey guys, AW here in order. Welcome to the first episode of Sports Mayhem on my sports channel. If you're new here, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment below, please. Especially if you're new, please. If you're not, do the same stuff. Share, subscribe, comment below. But yes, this is sports talk, weekly sports talk. On this stream, we are going to talk about a lot of stuff, actually. We're going to talk about Lamar Jackson and Aaron Rodgers. Is Lamar Jackson, what's up with Lamar Jackson? Where's his status at? What's he up to? Like, what's he doing? What's his status at? And what's up with Aaron Rodgers? Is he going to be dealt to the Jets? Is he going to be a New York Jet next season? Is he going to be behind taking the snaps for the New York Jets next season? We're going to talk about that. For sure. We're going to talk about the World Baseball Classic, with a great classic that was. A great ending. Ohtani versus Trout. The baseball season's upon us this Thursday. It's when baseball starts for the 2023 season. We're going to talk basketball. College basketball. And, March Madness, we got the Final Four. We're going to talk basketball. Standings. We're going to talk we're going to see what's up with the standings right now. What's going on with the standings? The basketball, especially the West. We're going to take a look at the West. It's especially the West, guys. And we're going to talk AHL standings, too. We all know that. We all know the AHL is happening. The standings in AHL is happening. Why does it say, what the hell? Okay. Why does it say, what the hell? Okay. Let's get on with this. Something definitely wrong here. Let's get on with the show. Okay? Let's get on with the show. Just a minute. There we go. Just a go. Just a minute. Okay. Okay, here we go. Let's talk. Okay. Lamar Jackson. What's going on with him? What's going on with Lamar Jackson? What's going on with Lamar Jackson? That's a very good question. Man, is he gonna be a Raven next year or what? Is he gonna be a Baltimore Raven? Or is he gonna be not a Baltimore Raven next year? Teams are willing to sign him to an offer sheet right now. Teams that want QBs, but nobody is doing that. Nobody's willing to give up for 2 first-round picks for Lamar Jackson. And this is really a big kind of story if you really think about it in the world of NFL. Yes, Lamar Jackson has been hurt the past 2 seasons at the end of seasons. That's correct. But when healthy, he's a big-time quarterback. He hasn't really done much in the playoffs, but he's a former MVP, obviously. He's an all-star, all-pro caliber quarterback. Why is there... Okay. Our teams, is Baltimore not really... My guess is Baltimore is not solely sold on him. They don't want to pay him what he's looking for. It seems like he's asking for over $200 million. And it seems like Baltimore's not willing to go there. You gotta also remember, right? He also doesn't have an agent. He's negotiating for himself. He's his own agent. Okay? So that means whenever he's negotiating with Baltimore or another team, it's just himself. Nobody's representing him. It's just himself. Now, this happens in the past. In some sports, some athletes have negotiated a new contract without a representative. It's happened before. But maybe Lamar should have somebody representing him, because this is really a mess. I mean, Baltimore should have him locked up. I'm sorry. Baltimore should have him locked up instead of letting him potentially walk. Now, any team that signs to the offer sheet has to give up, right? Has to sign to the offer sheet. Now, Baltimore has the right to match the team that gives them an offer sheet. Okay? Baltimore has the right to match. They do. If they don't match, Baltimore gets, a couple first rounders? I don't know, whatever the compensation is. But they do have the right to match whatever offer for the other teams submit for Lamar Jackson. Negotiate with Jackson. But it seems like there are teams. There seems like there are no teams that's willing to do that. It seems like there's no rumors, no reports of any teams out there. Any teams that can afford to pay Lamar Jackson or need a quarterback. Yeah, I can say the Jets, but let's say the Jets are more interested in Aaron Rodgers than Lamar Jackson. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers would be for a short-term kind of fix, but Lamar Jackson would be more of a long-term kind of fix. But it seems like they'd rather have Aaron Rodgers than Lamar, right? And we'll get to that. We'll definitely get to that. But oh, never, Nate. Never, my man. Trying to. And now, all the teams that I can think of that really need a quarterback. I mean, the Las Vegas Raiders got Garoppolo. The New York Saints got Derek Carr, right? Okay. Carolina can use a quarterback. But they're not going to spend all that stuff on Lamar Jackson. There's a reason they traded so much with Chicago to move up in the draft for the first overall pick. They want a quarterback. A rookie quarterback. They're not going to go for Lamar Jackson. And if they did sign him to an offer sheet and Baltimore refuses to match it, they'll probably get that. They might get first overall pick. I'm not sure how it works. So Carolina can take them out of the picture. They want one of the quarterbacks, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud. People expect CJ Stroud to be the first pick off the board according to mock drafts. Okay? Then you got the second team, right? Houston, Texas. Yeah, the Houston Texans need a quarterback too, but they're not going to spend all that on Lamar Jackson. They're going to go for probably Bryce Young after. Okay? The Ravens are screwed with Lamar Jackson. So there's a bunch of other teams. Seattle, maybe? No, they just signed Geno Smith to a ridiculous contract after 1 year. I mean, Chicago's high Justin Fields. Detroit has Goff. There's other teams. Indianapolis. Looks like Indianapolis might draft another quarterback because they've been, have different quarterbacks each year. Phillip Rivers, Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz. But they might go for a different quarterback. They might end up with, I don't think they're going to get Stroud or Young, but they might get either Will Levis or Anthony Richardson. Now, Anthony Richardson, they say, has the best tools, the raw tools of the top 4 quarterbacks, right? So you can count them out. There's what other teams? You see, let's look at the other teams. Like New England, I think they're still going to go with Max Jones and see where he goes. Cardinals got Murray still. Seattle's still Smith. San Francisco, they're probably going to go with Trey Lance again, see what that does. The Rams, Matthew Stafford. There's really not a lot of teams. This is what everybody's been saying, that the Deshaun Watson contract the Browns gave to Deshaun Watson contract screwed everything up. And that's where Lamar Jackson or Brock Purdy, whatever, they're still probably going to go trade that. And here's the thing. If you look at career stats, Deshaun Watson has the better career stats. If you really look close, Deshaun Watson has the better career stats than Lamar Jackson. But Deshaun Watson, while Lamar Jackson has been injured for the past 2 seasons, at the end of the seasons, Deshaun Watson pretty much hasn't played for a year and a half, right? Right. So that contract really looks bad. It looks really bad. It sets an example for the upcoming quarterbacks that they're going to need extensions. And that's what Lamar Jackson is right now, right? You could tell Baltimore doesn't want to give him $200 million. And I think what hurts him is that he's his own agent. I think that hurts him a lot. And I also think other teams don't want to pay him that much, too. Some teams are going to fill the quarterback through the draft, especially rebuilding. Some teams are going to pay a cheaper quarterback. A quarterback that's cheaper, like Garoppolo's Carr, and spend the money on more of the other parts of a football team, like the receivers, receivers, or especially defense. Remember, a lot of teams that have quarterbacks in the first few years, the quarterbacks are getting cheap money. They spend all their most money on the support stuff, right? The supporting cast, while the quarterback is cheap for the first 3 or 4 years, right? And usually when it gets to the point where the quarterback is getting the most money on the team, because obviously quarterback does make the most money eventually on the team because it's the most important position, it does hamper the rest of the team. Like Aaron Rodgers is making like $50 to $60 million per year. That hurts the overall team with Green Bay, okay? because there's a cap in football and it's a hard cap. Now, I don't know what the hard cap is. I know it's over 100 million, 120 to 130 million, I think it is. That's 45 to 50%. You can't. It really hurts when you pay a quarterback so much, and some of these quarterbacks, and I'll tell you, some of these quarterbacks are getting paid so much are not even elite. Kyle Murray is getting a lot of money. He's not elite, okay? There's some quarterbacks out there that are getting so much money, they're not even elite. They're not top 5 or even top 10 quarterback. I know they're the most important position, yes, but there's some of them are getting too much money for their value that they're not, okay? That's the problem. And Lamar Jackson, I'll say, is better than most of these quarterbacks. They're getting overpaid. It's true. I'll say that. Brock Purdy, yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's true. And now people are gonna hint there's collusion going on. Collusion. Wait, that's not happening. No. I think what happens in the end with Lamar, I think he's going back to Baltimore. That's it. I think he's going to be back in the Ravens uniform. He's going to be the quarterback of the Ravens going forward next season and a bunch of seasons. I think that's what's going to happen. I think he's going to stay with the Ravens. That's what I think. It's going to happen with Lamar Jackson. But it's just getting really, really ridiculous, man. It is. Okay, on to Aaron Rodgers. This is crazy. Aaron Rodgers. Okay, he clearly says he wants to be a New York Jet, okay? He clearly says that. He wants to be a New York Jet. A New York Jet. He said it on the Pat McAfee podcast, okay? He's gonna be a Jet. Okay? And I believe him. I think he will be a Jet. I think he'll be a New York Jet. But I think what's taking so long as a process is the negotiations between the two teams. I think the two teams are battling out who has the leverage here. Who has the leverage? Green Bay or New York? Now, I think New York has the leverage, okay? Because Rodgers, he did that retreat thing. He was in the dark for a week or whatever. And while he was in that dark, he said there was a 90% chance he was going to retire and a 10% chance wants to be a Jet, right? And I think that's why I think the Jets have the leverage here. Really, I know the Packers might think they do, but the Jets really have the leverage here because Green Bay probably wants a first rounder from the Jets. Okay? Now, if there's an Aaron Rodgers 11 years ago, in his prime, he's still good when he was older, but like a 29, 30-year-old, a 31-year-old Aaron Rodgers, first rounder, easy. I'll give up a first rounder like that for Aaron Rodgers. No question about it. Okay? First rounder, yeah, he could take it. But Aaron Rodgers has 2 years left. He's 38, 39 years old, and he still put up good numbers last year. And you can say all you want about, he didn't have chemistry with receivers. There's still a bit of a decline in his game. There's still a bit of a decline. Okay? I think he will be a Jet. Here's the thing. If he's not a Jet, he's retiring. I'm guarantee you. I said this before the Jet rumors were starting. I said this months ago when the season was going on. When Green Bay was struggling, there's some stuff not going well with Green Bay, like Aaron Rodgers, definitely Aaron Rodgers. I said this. Aaron Rodgers is either going to retire for next season or he's going to be on a different team. And I think, I think it's still gonna. I probably know it's gonna happen. He did have a broken thumb, but that's true. Who cares? He's a wuss. But I But and I think it's gonna be on the Jets. You know what? There will be a deal done, but I think this will be a draft. It's gonna be a deal that's close to the draft. Okay, closer to the draft. It's gonna be. It might be a draft day deal, or it might not be a draft day deal. But I think it's gonna be a deal where it's gonna be closer to the draft. Everybody suspected. I thought it was gonna be done last week or the week before. I thought it was gonna be done that. I mean, I made a video basically saying Aaron Rodgers traded to the New York Jets. Obviously, I thought he was. I thought everybody was. But now I think this deal is going to get done in April when the draft is coming closer. Okay, that's what I think. This deal will get done. Is when the draft gets closer. Okay. Otherwise, if the draft pass and there's no deal, I don't think he's a Jet. I think he retires. Because if I was a Packers, I would want the first round, the draft picks of this year too in 2024. I would want draft picks this year in 2024, and help build around Jordan Love. Okay, I mean you got the young receiving core. There's a reason why Alan Lazar signed with the Jets. You think Alan Lazar is going to sign the other team if he didn't think Aaron Rodgers was not going to the Jets? There's a reason why. He basically said it. He signed with the Jets because of Aaron Rodgers. Okay? Now, Alan Lazar is a solid receiver, but he's not a number one. And if on the Jets, it might end up being Garrett Wilson. Now, the Jets traded Elijah Moore to Cleveland. I remember that. To accumulate some draft picks. I think they got a second rounder and maybe another draft pick for Elijah Moore. Maybe they could add in that into the potential trade for Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers. Because maybe the Jets do not want to give up a first rounder for a 2-year quarterback that's 39, 38, almost 40, making $60 million a year. Okay? So maybe that trade for Elijah Moore, to accumulate some draft, at least a second rounder, was to help build up some draft picks, to add some draft picks to a potential Rodgers trade that's closer to the draft. Because I think this deal will get done in April. I do. That's how I feel. That's what I think is going to happen. Otherwise, if he doesn't get traded, because remember, most trades in the offseason happen at the draft or before the draft, right? Right? Because they want the draft picks, obviously, right? Or whatever. So if it doesn't happen before or after, they're not going to release them. They're not going to release Rodgers. And they want Jordan Love to be the future, but they're not going to release Rodgers. They're not going to release Rodgers. They're not. All right. So I spent about 25 minutes of two quarterbacks. Yeah, his former offensive coordinator Nathan Hackett is the offensive coordinator of the Jets. You know, Nathan Hackett's the one who tried to, coach Russell Wilson with Denver. Yeah, the same guy. Same guy. Okay. Okay. The mock drafts of all this, C.G. Stroud, Bryce Young, Will Levis, whatever, Anthony Richardson. Also, they got, Will Anderson, Jalen Carter. The Jalen Carter stuff, that's huge, That's what. How can that affect his draft stock? We'll see. Now, let's see where we're going to go to. Talk World Baseball Classic. So the World Baseball Classic just ended, right, with Japan over USA in the final round, in the finals. It was 3-2 the final score, and everybody loved the World Baseball Classic. Was fantastic. It capitated. It was great all around. I mean, the Otani versus Trout teammates in the MLB, but teammates out of the MLB, It was a great all-around tournament. They're coming back in 2026. They had a lot more countries this time. They had different pools. I mean, they had countries they had Great Britain in it, the Netherlands, Czech Republic. I mean, they had countries you think you didn't play baseball, obviously. It was fun. It was fun to watch. It seems like the knock on it is, it seems like Japan and Canada, the Canadians Canadians and American players don't care about as much as international players because I don't know, they feel like winning the World Series is bigger. Maybe they get paid for that. But yet there have been some injuries because of the Classic. Edwin Diaz, the closer of the Mets, who just signed a 5-year deal worth $20 million a year. The closer, he's out the season. Jose Altuve, star second baseman, all-star caliber second baseman, potential Hall of Famer second baseman for Houston Astros. He's out possibly 2 to 3 months. There are injuries that come with the stuff, right? And the thing is, they don't get paid. They don't get paid for this. It's just because they want to do this for the country, represent the country, right? Because it's an honor to represent the country and stuff. But I think deep down, owners hate it because they want the players to be healthy for the season. They'd rather have the players get hurt during spring training or a season because at least you're paying them. We're in the tournaments like this, they're not being paid, okay? And they're gonna be out for the year. And I know it's happened in hockey before in the Olympics. Like John Tavares, he got injured in the 2014 Olympics, I believe. And the Islanders ownership was mad. They were frustrated. I think that's one of the reasons why they decided not to go back to the Olympics. Ownership did not want NHL players to risk injury in the Olympics. They rather if they get hurt, you're getting paid to get hurt. We're not paying you. We're not paying you to get hurt freely. Okay, you're gonna get hurt in the game. At least you're getting paid. Make it worth it. Okay. Okay. Now we're gonna get to hockey talk, NHL talk. So we're about a couple weeks away from NHL season. Boston's having the Bruins are having such a historic run. They're going to set the record of wins and points. They're going to end up first. Yeah, in the history of the NHL. So they're obviously going to win the President's Trophy. That's for the most points in the NHL season. They're definitely the favorites to win the Cup, obviously. But let's take a look at the standings. We got 4 divisions. Top 3 teams each division makes the playoffs. And the 2 wildcard teams with the most points are seed 7, 8. So let's take a look at the standings, okay? Let's take a look. So in the division, In the Atlantic Division, which is in the Eastern Conference, the top 3 teams are Boston, Toronto, and Tampa Bay. They're the top 3 teams. So they're going to make the playoffs. Everybody pretty much clinched. So they're going to make the playoffs. In the Metropolitan Division, Carolina, New Jersey, and the New York Rangers are top 3 teams. Okay? So Boston, Toronto, Tampa Bay, Carolina, New Jersey, and New York are the top 6 teams in the East. Okay? But in the conference, determined by points, Islanders and Pittsburgh are the top 2 teams leading the wild card right now. They're 7th, 8th in the East. Pittsburgh is 8th, but they're only 3 points ahead of Florida, who are 9th. So between now and the end of the season, you can have a bunch of different wild card teams. You can have New York Islanders, Pittsburgh, Florida, and Buffalo. Maybe even Washington. All battling for the 2 wildcard spots, 7th, 8th in the East. Okay, now let's go to the West. Okay, the Western Division Conference. In the Central, we got Minnesota, Colorado, and Dallas. Okay, those top 3 teams in the Central. In the Pacific, we got Vegas, Los Angeles, and Edmonton. Okay, now Edmonton's only 3 points ahead of Seattle. But let's look at the conference for the West. So, the conference for the West. Okay, let's see. The conference for the West, we got Seattle and Winnipeg are 7th and 8th, with Calgary 9th and Nashville 10th. Okay, so I say it's between Seattle and Nashville are going to battle for the 2 wildcard spots in the West. Okay, so that's where we are in the NHL conference standings. We'll get to basketball, and I'm going to get a fight a friend named George on for talk basketball. We were talking sports. Oh man, I don't want to make this bigger. Thank you. Okay. So hockey right now. Hockey is almost over. Like Boston, Toronto, Tampa. Need it. And then you got Carolina, New Jersey, in the Rangers. Okay. We're gonna talk basketball now. We're gonna look at the standings. And we're going to talk a lot of basketball. Yeah. You know, Lillard's hurt. The Trailblazers planning to shut down Damian Lillard. For the season. Oh, I got 10 people watching. Wow. Okay, so Lillard's hurt right now. Paul George might be out the year. So let's talk about. Yeah, I said basketball. I'm doing basketball now. Golden State's beating Minnesota right now. Looking at the scores right now. The Thunder beat the Trailblazers. The Magic beat the Nets. Cavaliers beat the Rockets. Celtics beat the Spurs. Grizzlies beat the Hawks. Lakers beat the Bulls. Hornets beat the Mavericks. And Warriors are beating the Timberwolves right now. and the Raptors beat the Wizards. Now I sent the group. I sent everybody uh uh a D a streamer link. So if you want to talk basketball or any other sports, come on in, please. For episode 1 of Sports Mayhem. I know that's please. We could be a Skip Bayless or Stephen A. Smith or Max Kellerman. You could come in. Let's talk. Basket. There we go. I knew George would come in. Hey, George.
Hello, I apologize. I'm eating, so I apologize if my chewing's loud.
Oh, don't worry about it, man. Don't worry. Don't worry. It's all good. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Just relaxing before I go back to work tomorrow.
That's good, man. Yeah, so I'm doing basketball now. It's just like we're doing an update, playoff race update. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some injury news. J.R. Morant. We're going to talk about Damian Lillard. We're going to talk Damian Lillard, not Lizard. Damian Lillard. Talk Paul George. We're going to talk about the struggles of Dallas. They lost again today. So let's go over the standings. I got the standings right here.
All right.
Yeah, so.
I feel like I'm on ESPN right now.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
I'm Chris Broussard.
So in the Eastern Conference, Milwaukee is first. Boston is second. They're 1.5 behind. Philadelphia is third, 4 games behind. Cleveland is fourth. The Knicks are actually fifth, 2 games ahead of Brooklyn. Brooklyn is sixth. Miami is seventh. Atlanta is eighth. 9th is Toronto. 10th is Chicago. 11th is Indiana. 12th is Washington. 13th is Orlando. 14th is Charlotte. 15th is Detroit. Those 3 teams, and maybe Washington, we don't have to really. No, maybe Orlando. I don't know. Orlando, Washington, and Indiana are technically in a race for the play-in, but Charlotte and Detroit we don't really have to talk about, really. In the West, Denver's first, Memphis is second, Sacramento is third, Phoenix is fourth, Clippers are fifth, Golden State is sixth, New Orleans is seventh, Minnesota is eighth, Lakers is ninth, Oklahoma is 10th, 11th is Dallas, 12th is Utah, 13th is Portland, 14th is San Antonio, 15th is Houston. So San Antonio and Houston are pretty much out of the race, obviously. Portland might be out of the race. Utah might have a chance because they're not far behind Dallas because the play is between 11 and 7, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk West first, the rest, because it's a little hard to because there's only one team that's gonna reach 50 wins. So far, there's only one team that has reached 50 wins. I think Memphis will get there. I don't know about Sacramento. I don't know. Phoenix won't. What do you say?
Well, props to Sacramento for having their best season in a long time already without even officially making the playoffs.
I think it should be closer to the year.
45 wins alone is remarkable.
Who's Mike Brown, right? Coach of the year. Coach of the year.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because, let's be frank here. Sacramento has not really had an up and down season this year. Maybe at the beginning of the season, but for the most part, they've been pretty consistent.
Nobody had them. I mean, at least here's the thing. Nobody suspected the West to be this, this much parity in the West. Like, nobody expected the West to be like so close. This all teams so bunched up, right? You wouldn't think. Look, you think the Clippers have a better record than they have now. Dallas would have a better record, right? Phoenix, like look at this. Even Golden State.
Well, to be fair with Phoenix, Devin Booker missed a lot of time and that hurt
That's
them.
true.
And once he came back, they were winning games again.
And now they lost Durant, and now they don't have now. I don't know when Durant's coming back now. But they don't have the depth anymore because Durant's out because they traded depth for Durant.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I think, to be fair, I think everyone thought Phoenix was going to have a chance next season, not really this season, because you got to build chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I feel like Phoenix, they were kind of playing with house money for the rest of the season and for the playoffs. Next year's really going to be, I think, the real test. Once Durant's fully healthy and everyone gets more chemistry.
If they could trust him to be fully healthy, but I expect him not to be playing 70 games next season. I'm thinking he's gonna play like 60 or something.
The
right?
thing is, the unfortunate reality with Kevin Durant, ever since his injury, is that like he's not going to be playing that many games.
The thing, because we think before the Achilles heel, he was never injury prone. He was like the one starter.
Well, I know, like for like the first several seasons, he played mostly every game during the season.
Yeah.
Then he had a bad injury the 2014-2015 season where he only played like 30 something games, I think. That was like the year like Westbrook was like showing like how great he was. But then like after that, like in between that and like his final season in Golden State, he was relatively healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Achilles, because the thing is, the Achilles is usually an injury that most players don't really come back from. Like that was
100%. You don't come back even 100%, not even close to it. DeMarcus Cousins never fully recovered.
Like that was the beginning of the end for Kobe.
Yeah. I mean, DeMarcus Cousins suffered that injury, and he wasn't really the same guy he was. I mean, he was on a terrible Sacramento team, but like he was arguably one of the best centers at the time. But when he suffered that injury, he never became that dominant center he once was. I mean, he was still a pretty decent like backup center. He was still having a team, but he wasn't like that star center he once was before pre-injury.
So it's pretty remarkable that Kevin Durant is still like producing phenomenal numbers afterwards. So I think I understand why whenever he gets injured, even like if it's not like a severe injury, they're very cautious because that Achilles, I think the Achilles really hurt him. And you gotta be careful with that injury because it ruined DeMarcus Cousins' career. It basically began the end of Kobe.
The worst thing was he tried to come back from the Achilles in the finals.
Yeah, that was really not a good look. I mean, I get it. Your team was down, and obviously, if you're healthy, your team has a much better chance.
Yeah.
But one championship, I don't think, is worth like the second half of your career.
No, because it was 2019. He was still like 30 years old then. It was 4 years ago. He was still in the prime of his career. And I don't know. I don't care what anybody says. He's better than Curry. I'll take him over Curry any day because he can do more stuff than Curry can. I'll just say that. But yeah, you can't come back from Achilles 2 months, a month or two after you suffer one, because you can't. It just doesn't work like that. And he made. You know what? He made it worse. Because if he didn't come back, it was possible he could have possibly sometimes come back in the 2019-2020 season before the shutdown. It's possible he could have come back for that season if he didn't come back in the finals.
Yeah, but it is what it is. He's still playing well. So we should just be grateful that we can still see him produce great numbers. It's just, again, it just kind of stinks that, for like because like he is becoming a bit injury prone like these last few seasons, And you know what? They don't want to risk it. So even if the injury's not that bad, they're not going to have him like come back right away. He hasn't been in an All-Star game in like ages.
And this injury was a fluke injury. It was a fluke. He did during warm-ups. Like, what was he rolled his ankle, right?
Yeah, rolled his ankle. You still gotta be careful with that, though.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. But this was a fluke injury, man. It's worse. It's bad. It's terrible when you injured in game. In a game, it's terrible, right? But when you do it during a warm up, it's worse. As an athlete, if you injure yourself during warm up, I mean, it has to feel worse than doing it during a game.
Well, I mean, like Grant Hill, when he was like 4 years old, apparently in warm up in his last season during a warm up during a playoff game, he tore something.
Do you remember? Yes, when he was 4 years old,
like 40 years old.
Do you remember Grant Hill was on Detroit, right? He was so good, but he suffered a major injury. And we went to Orlando. He never played with them,
Yeah, I remember that. But the bright side for Kevin Durant is at least like he got to play more games. He's got a couple championships under his belt.
Yeah,
and look, like Kevin Durant,
he's a ring chaser, man.
Like he's gonna be remembered as one of the all-time greats either way. Like one of the all-time great scorers.
But he's gonna be remembered one of the all-time greats, maybe eventually top 5 player, maybe definitely top 10. But he's also gonna have that stigma around him that he's a ring chaser and person who's willing to quit on his team, kind of like Kyrie.
Well, here's the thing. KD never threatened to sit out the whole season.
No.
Like Kyrie has done in the past.
I know.
Will still play.
I know Kobe has done it, obviously, demanded trades before. But I think that's because of Shaq, mostly, when Shaq was there.
Well, remember, he demanded a trade in 2007, too, before Pau Gasol came, because, let's be frank, the Lakers weren't really giving.
They were bad in the mid-2000s.
Like, he had Kwame Brown as a teammate.
Mush Parker. Yeah.
Like, your second best player was Lamar Odom. You had Andrew Bynum, but let's be frank, Andrew Bynum had no heart.
Andrew Bynum. I mean, remember how high everybody were on Andrew Bynum? He lasted like 2 or 3 years. Remember, I thought he was gonna be like the best center in the league.
Yeah. Oh yeah. that was a time.
Yeah.
But what's this like? Like seriously, Dallas is like number 11. They're not even in.
They're 3 games under 500. They just lost today.
That's bad.
Look, yeah, I'm making sure. Yeah, Dallas is 3 games under 500.
Oh my goodness. So I take it the Kobe Luka experiment has become a bigger failure than the Rondo Dallas experiment.
Oh, did you say Kobe?
What?
You said Kobe.
No, I said Rondo.
No, before you said Kobe Luka experiment.
I mean, Kyrie.
I know what you meant. It's just Kyrie. But here's the thing.
Seriously, it's become a major flop.
The thing is, with some certain players, you might be able to build chemistry faster. But with Kyrie, who is similar style player to Doncic, it's hard to build chemistry with that kind of player because they're so ball oriented, dominant. It's harder to build chemistry with that kind of player. Like it's. I think we both agree. Like during trade deadline time, we didn't think it was just going to work. And
I knew it was never gonna work from the beginning.
Yeah.
Listen, you know what? Honestly, KD would have been a better fit with Luka, I feel like, than Kyrie.
Yeah, because he would. At least he would have height and he could give you defense and stuff like that. Like Kyrie and Luka score like 60 to 70 points combined for that team. But who the hell else scores for them?
But that's the thing. That's the problem. They also gave up depth. The thing is, here's the thing. The difference between Phoenix and Dallas is Phoenix still has enough star power, or like
you got Paul and Aiden.
Yeah, they still got enough players where like they can still carry it and still be a pretty good playoff team without KD. When you trade for Kyrie, you gave up basically so many key pieces to your roster.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
wasn't the one knock on Dallas before they traded for Kyrie was their depth?
yeah. I mean, good Lord. Like, Kyrie won out of Brooklyn. Right now, Brooklyn has a better record than them.
Yes, they do.
I mean,
And a tougher conference, too.
So, yikes.
I'm watching this women's Final Four game. This Caitlin Clark woman is so good.
And I know a lot of those games that Brooklyn won were because of KD and Kyrie. But even still, like, after the trade, like, they didn't drop, like, badly. Like, everyone thought the Brooklyn Nets would drop, but they stayed relatively competitive.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the Ben Simmons is not helping them.
Oh, my goodness.
What's it have now? Like, what's it now with them?
I have no idea. I stopped paying attention because I know this year the Nets ain't really. They'll be a playoff team that loses in the first round.
Can I have Ben Simmons as his agency and his agent? Because apparently you could make $35 million for just being crap and not play. Can I have that? Can I do that? Well, oh no, did he just fire it? Did he fire his agency? Did he just fire it? Clutch Sports.
I
thought he fired his agency. I'm like, Ben, why would you fire this agency to just give you $35 million a year for doing nothing? Why would you fire that? He's a dumbass, Ben. I'm sorry.
Listen, the Brooklyn Nets they're gonna trade him away probably during the offseason.
Oh, what team is stupid enough to take him?
Whatever team's not competing for a championship.
Do they want? How many years does he have left on his contract, though?
I have no idea. Well, here's a
Philly
positive.
broke him. Philly broke him. The crowd broke him.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, Philly fans are brutal.
Yeah. I mean, this guy has so much talent. He could pass, he could defend, he could rebound. Good defender. It's just the one thing he's scared to shoot.
Yeah, that's definitely a knock on him.
Look, Giannis, he pretty much has the same skill set as Giannis. But I think Giannis is a little taller, a little bit stronger. But if you think about it, he has the same skill set. And Giannis is not a great shooter himself, but he's not afraid.
Yo, Giannis like made a bunch of threes in Game 6 in the in the finals.
Yes. Like, there's a lot of players the same similar skill set as Ben Simmons out there.
But again, like Giannis isn't afraid to attack the paint. Like
No.
he's very aggressive. He's got a pretty good mid-range shot.
Yeah. I mean, he's not the best free throw shooter. He's like a 70%, 65 to 70% free throw shooter.
But he's not scared to shoot it.
No.
And again, like he can hit the three occasionally. Ben Simmons, like he don't even want to shoot mid-range.
Yeah. And the thing is, when he's in Philadelphia, Embiid is still the guy, right? Embiid is always going to be the guy. In Brooklyn, go ahead.
The thing to realize is a player like Ben Simmons' size, like even like in the previous era, power forwards and centers, like to me, power forwards needed to be able to at least hit the mid range, even before like it became a 3-point dominant game.
Power forwards really shot threes back in the day, but
they shot the mid range and they shot it pretty well. Yeah. So the thing is like Ben Simmons, like it don't matter what era. No, if you ain't gonna shoot it, whether it's a mid range or 3-point shot or try to develop a 3-point shot, you ain't gonna last in this league long. So even if this was like the previous era, he would struggle.
Yeah, that's definitely true. That's definitely true.
And here's the thing. People always talk about the drop-off Dwight Howard had after he left Orlando. Ben Simmons' drop-off is even worse than Dwight's.
You know what? Dwight Howard still put up numbers.
Yeah, Dwight still did put up numbers.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, and you know what? Yeah, he had back problems himself, but you know what? He never sat out a whole season.
No.
He never, like...
He blinded.
So, there's really no excuse for Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
And the thing is, here's the thing. Ben Simmons is younger than Dwight was when those problems were arriving for Dwight.
Oh, yeah. Yes, he was.
Like, Dwight was, like, in his late 20s, early 30s when this happened. Like, this is happening.
When he got traded to the Lakers, so when it all started downhill.
Yeah. But, like, again, that was, like, you know, late 20s when all that stuff was happening.
Kobe hated Dwight Howard.
Well, I don't think it wasn't that he hated Dwight. He hated that Dwight did not have that
serious enough.
Yeah, he was not a competitor.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing. Dwight made Kobe really appreciate what Shaq brought to him.
Yeah.
Here's a story that I heard. Apparently, like, after a Laker game, Kobe asked for Shaq to come in the Laker locker room and to, like, talk to him and basically let it be known to Shaq that he didn't realize how much he appreciated him.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, Shaq put in the work where Dwight really didn't.
Yeah, that's the difference between... I mean, Shaq said it seems like a guy who doesn't care, but Shaq really does care when he really does care. Like, he's not serious like Kobe, because from our time watching Kobe, you never see him laugh all that much. You never see him joke or whatever. You see that with Shaq. You see that with Dwight. But the difference, like you said, the difference between Shaq and Dwight, Shaq gets serious when he needs to, especially in his games. He gets serious in those during the game. Dwight doesn't seem like that. Like, Michael Jordan would not stand Dwight Howard. I guarantee you. Michael Jordan would be like, get this guy off the team.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He would not stand Dwight Howard, obviously. I mean, it's okay to sometimes have a guy who likes to make jokes, who likes to have some fun and stuff. But when it's serious, when it's game time, when you're in the locker room, and when the moment calls for it or whatever, it's to be serious. You gotta be serious. You gotta want it. You gotta be passionate. That's why I'm for my team. I have no problem with a loose locker room, because you want a loose locker room. You don't want a tight locker room, right? But you gotta. Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
But you gotta know, like, everybody wants. You gotta know that everybody on the team wants the same goal, is to get a ring, and that goes for all sports. And I feel like, we know in all sports, not every athlete cares about the ring. They care about the money.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Because you could tell with some sports, once they get the big contract, their play tends to drop off sometimes after. Sometimes there's a tendency in sports where in the contract year they end up doing better than the previous years.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. That was a knock on Shaq. I mean, and not a knock on Shaq, on Dwight Howard. And I think that's a little knock on Harden at times, like. But I think Harden is serious. Yeah. So we got you got injuries to Damian Lillard. He's out for the year. They're gonna shut him down. What do you think about that with Portland? They're basically giving up. I mean, to me, Damian Lillard is the ultimate soldier for that team. Good guy, respectable. A guy you have any team would lucky to have. If I was Damian Lillard, I wouldn't ask for a trade, but Portland came up with him and says, you know what? We want to, since you've been so loyal to us, we want to give you a chance to win a ring or go somewhere maybe where you have a better chance of winning a ring. I'd be open to Lillard because I feel like this guy deserves a ring more than any other star because he's been so loyal to his team.
I feel like at this point, like either like unless you draft very well and like I don't know.
Portland has at times.
Like at this point, Portland's window has basically closed. I think it officially closed when they traded CJ McCollum.
Do you remember how good that Portland team was when before CJ McCollum era? But it was the Marcus Aldridge, Nicholas Batum, Clay Matthews, and I think Lillard at the time. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That was good. That was like a good core. It's just sad though, like Brandon Boy, man, that's another guy whose career ended relatively quickly.
He never even became like a decent role player. He just like he was done. He didn't even like get a chance to be like a role player or six man.
No. But yeah, like with Lillard, I mean, like if here's the thing, Lakers should go for Lillard. I'm sorry, the Lakers should trade for Lillard.
Unfortunately, I feel like they're gonna if Kyrie wants to join, they'll get Kyrie.
Why? Oh, here's the thing, Kyrie might be a little better scorer than Lillard, but I think the locker room would be better off of Lillard in it. I just think they're not good defensively. They're not both great defensively, right? Kyrie's terrible defensively. Lillard's okay defensively.
But
Lillard great
put effort in at least.
Yeah,
like he'll try.
Yeah, and Lillard, they're both great offensively. They're both clutch. When the time comes, Lillard's really clutch, right? Really clutch. But I think if I had to take one player for the locker room, for morale, for locker room, I'll take Lillard over Kyrie any day.
Well, here's also the thing. I trust Damian Lillard if LeBron gets hurt to lead the Lakers because, look, Damian Lillard, when LaMarcus Aldridge left for like a few seasons, kept Portland as a playoff team. I mean, the first season without LaMarcus, they beat the Clippers in the first round, and no one expected them to do that.
They lost a lot of good players. They lost like Batum, Aldridge, and Clay Matthews. Like at the time.
One season he led Portland to the conference finals. So I can trust like Damian Lillard to carry the load. And if he has Anthony Davis, as long as Anthony Davis is healthy, like him and AD could hold down the fort and like take some of the pressure off of Braun. I don't trust Kyrie to do that.
No. Because you don't know what Kyrie's doing. Like, Damian Lillard's like the ultimate pro. He's like the one of the worst superstars. Like I think Giannis is up there. Definitely Giannis is up there. But Lillard's like it's the one superstar. He doesn't let ego get in the way.
Well, I call it the Dirk mentality at this point.
Dirk, yeah.
The Dirk mentality. Because it's a rarity to see nowadays a player wanting to stay with his team for this long.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, outside of Steph, because Steph has had so much success with Golden State.
I'd be surprised if Steph is on another team in his career.
Yeah, like that'd be a big surprise. But like outside of like that, it's very rare to see.
Of those three, Draymond Green is probably be on another team before Clay or Steph.
And here's the thing, I think because right now the Bucks, like they have the best record in the NBA. If the Bucks win the championship this year, I think Giannis is 100% staying in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
I think it was solidified when he won the championship the first time, but I think it'll be even more solidified if he pulls it off again.
Mm-hmm.
And like listen, if like also if Boston pulls it off, don't be surprised if at least Jason Tatum stays with Boston.
Well, there's little mumblings out there that Tatum like nothing with Tatum, but with Jaylen Brown possibly not signing an extension, that he may have actual second thoughts about possibly staying in Boston.
I think that would be a mistake to leave because look, I get it, they dropped a little bit, but they've also like been bouncing back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're still like a top favorite in the East to go to the finals.
Yeah, and the thing is, like you made to the finals last year.
Yeah,
and both players are still relatively young. They're not even
really young.
They're not even in their primes yet. So don't blow this thing up before you even enter your prime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like, look, they proved the doubters wrong. There are people that said these two can't play together. They can play together. They've proven that.
Well, they could play together. That's true. It's like you can have superstars play well with each other. You can. There's sometimes a belief out there where superstars cannot play well with each other, right? You can. You just got to find the right mix of superstars and how their talent and how their skill mixes with each other, and how not just on the court, but how off the court, how their personalities work with each other, right? I mean, like sometimes, right? Like it could work. Like Dirk Nowitzki and Steve Nash had a great relationship with in Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. People forget like Steve Nash was once a Dallas Maverick because they talk about his Phoenix Suns days.
Wasn't he drafted by the Suns first?
Can't remember.
Or Dallas? I don't know. Yeah, it can work. Like you just gotta know the superstar, right? You sometimes gotta know the superstar. Like when we got Westbrook and Harden, when Westbrook went to Houston, oh my god, I know this won't work with Harden because it didn't. Because they're both big egos. I know this won't work with Harden.
But believe it or not, like that was Westbrook's like best though post OKC, because you know what, they still won plenty of games. Westbrook averaged a lot of points, and they made it past the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, after that though, Westbrook's been on a collapse.
Oh my god, Washington, Lakers. Yeah, he's been 4 teams,
And
right?
The Clippers, it has not worked out
now.
with the Clippers.
Now.
So, and I think that's why Damian Lillard doesn't want to trade, because he says like he doesn't want to end up like Westbrook.
The thing is, I don't think if he gets traded, I don't think he'll end up like Westbrook.
Well, the thing is that Lillard's ego is not big like Westbrook's.
No.
Westbrook's got so much pride and too big of an ego.
Yeah, I think if Lillard gets traded, he's not going to be a guy who's going to be on 3 or 4 teams in 2 or 3 years. You know, I think he'd be. I know he said that, but I just don't see it with Lillard. He's a guy I could trust on my team. I respect players like that. And not many NBA, well, especially superstars with the huge egos, not many in the NBA have loyalty.
Yeah, it's a rarity to see.
Yeah. I mean, Kyrie Irving has loyalty to no one. Obviously, no team.
Kyrie's loyal to only 3 people. Like himself. Like,
watch him end up playing for the Chinese league or Korean league next
gosh.
year.
that wouldn't. No, my goodness.
I mean, but this is okay. This is his 4th team, right? And I think he'll be on a 5th team next season. Superstars should not be on 5 teams in this early in their career in any sport.
Unless at this point they're just a role player.
Yeah,
but he's not a role player.
Like Vince Carter, right? Like we talked about Vince Carter yesterday. Well, Vince Carter been on a bunch of different teams when he's closer, when he got older, like he's 35, around there, right? Like 34, 35, right? But Kyrie Irving is only what? 30, 31? Because he was 8 when he was a freshman when he got drafted, like 18 and 19, right? In 2011, right?
Yeah.
So he's only 30, 31. He should not be on 4. He should not be on 4 teams this early in his career. And if he's on a 5th team, he should not be in 5th team this early in his career. It doesn't happen for superstars. Like that tells you about the player.
The thing is, Kyrie has yet to really earn the respect to basically move from team to team. Like with LeBron, like when he left Cleveland a second time to go to LA, he earns, I think, enough respect for people to be like, okay, sweet, go for it.
He went to Cleveland. he went after when he went to Miami. He was there for 4 years, right? I think 4 years, right?
Yeah.
Then he went to Cleveland he went to Cleveland from 2014 to 2018, right? 4 years. The thing is, these guys these days don't even last like 1 or 2 years now.
Yeah, and it's crazy because people dog on LeBron, but it's like LeBron plays through his contracts, and since his Miami days, like he's at least like won a championship for each team that he's played for.
Yeah,
like Kyrie only brings chaos to each team that he plays for.
what really hurt LeBron was when he announced where he was going on live TV. People did not like that.
I mean, look at what's basically happened. Like people want to like give KD blame for Brooklyn as well, but here's the thing: like you do not hear of any drama in Phoenix so far.
No.
So, like to me, it's always been Kyrie that's been the problem. He was the problem. He wasn't a problem in Cleveland. But once he left Cleveland, like once he left LeBron's eyes, because I think LeBron watched him like a hawk, he basically was the problem everywhere he went. He was the problem in Boston. He was the problem in Brooklyn. And right now, ever since he got traded to Dallas, the team's actually been worse.
Yes. It's
and
like
the thing is, we are getting close to the end of the season.
It's like the morale in the locker room changed once he came in. It's like not for the better. Sometimes when you make a trade for a player, for a superstar, or you sign as free agent, and this guy enters your locker room, well-respected guy enters your locker room, it can make things better. All of a sudden, the locker room morale changed for the good. It seems like maybe with Kyrie, it goes the opposite direction. That's what I think. With him, it goes the opposite direction.
I mean, look at Boston. Boston actually got better once he left.
Yeah. I know Cleveland hasn't recovered but Cleveland has recovered, but they were bad for a few years. But that's because LeBron left, not Kyrie. They were still good with LeBron. That 1 year Kyrie was not with them. They were still good. They weren't as good because Isaiah Thomas was like a 1 year, 2 year flash in the pan for Boston, but they were still good without Kyrie. It's once LeBron left, that's when Cleveland went back to being a bad team.
Well, they actually just made the playoffs today.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But then again, like it took them a while, but they finally got Donovan Mitchell. I almost called him by the person in our community. Donovan.
I mean, I like Evan Mobley. I like Donovan Mitchell. I like who's the other guy? Garland. Jared Allen's a good center. Like they got LeVert. They had 2 or 3 years of being bad since Kyrie left, and ever since LeBron left. But it wasn't like with the first time when LeBron left, right?
Yeah. Well, I think that's also another knock on Kyrie. Like Kyrie had like a few years to do it without LeBron before LeBron came in, couldn't get it done. Then all of a sudden, these other players that aren't as big of household names as Kyrie, all of a sudden, last season, they lost. Well, Kevin Love now plays for Miami.
I know, but like when they got Kevin Love, LeBron's like, I want Kevin Love.
But here's the thing, like again, Donovan Mitchell. Oh my gosh, Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell. He's not a household name like Kyrie, but yet, like, look what he's been able to pull off.
That's because
look what the guys they had last year. Yeah, they lost the play-in game, but you know what? They still had an over 500 record.
And now Luka Doncic. So I just read on the ticker, Luka got a technical foul. Now he could get 16th technical foul this year. He could face up a 1-game suspension. Not good when the season's coming over and you're fighting for a playoff spot.
Yeah. And again, I don't trust Kyrie to lead a team. I know it sounds like I hate on Kyrie, but the thing is, he's unreliable.
No. You don't hate on Kyrie. You're just being honest.
This is the honest truth. Kyrie, we always talk about drama and movie talk. Kyrie would fit perfectly in because he's drama for an NBA team.
Mm-hmm.
He like he is the drama of sports.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's
I mean, remember he made a big stink about the bubble, like saying like I don't trust this thing, even though he wasn't gonna play to begin with because he was injured.
remember he thinks he speaks for everybody. That's the problem. He doesn't.
Here's the thing: I think like he wants to be like LeBron, but he'll never be like LeBron.
No. You know it's gonna be like LeBron. First, LeBron has a bunch of championships, and LeBron. I know LeBron makes headlines at times because he's freaking LeBron James, the best player, like the most well-known player in the NBA since Michael Jordan. Obviously, he's gonna make headlines like every day, right? But LeBron James doesn't get himself in trouble.
The only mistake LeBron made, and the mistake wasn't going to Miami, it was doing it on live TV.
Yes,
making it a special. Outside of that, though,
he has his haters, but
like outside of that, he's never done anything wrong.
No,
he's never done anything stupid.
No,
and at least like he learned his mistake, and I think acknowledged his mistake in how he left Cleveland the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Where like Kyrie just makes the same dumb mistake. Well. Here's the thing: maybe Kyrie will join the Clippers instead.
Oh my God!
He'll give Kawhi a headache.
Oh, and Kawhi is a quiet leader, man. Because Kawhi, you know what? Kawhi's been taking some shit too, man. He doesn't speak out a lot. He doesn't talk a lot. He doesn't speak out a lot in media, stuff like that. But behind the scenes, he's kind of a snake. Because that whole situation where he left Toronto and San Antonio.
But it was really how he left San Antonio. It wasn't him leaving Toronto. You know what? He won a championship for them.
Yeah, so but his uncle. His uncle is like. His uncle,
it was really how he left San Antonio. Like Toronto, he left as a free agent after winning a championship.
He's a silent backstabber, if you ask me.
But no, I can't wait to hear the if he ever joins the Clippers. The
Paul George.
Kyrie beef.
Remember Paul George? He signed an extension with Oklahoma, and then like a year later they traded him.
Oh yeah.
Look at Oklahoma. They got a bunch of draft picks for him, and I think Oklahoma has a brighter future than the Clippers.
Yeah.
Because they're on the rise. Shea Alexander, Josh Giddey, whoever else, and obviously Chad Hogan when he comes back healthy. But how many draft picks do they have? They could be trade for like a star player, another star player too, man. Like they're gonna be scary, man. The Clippers are dumb though. They trade so many draft picks for Paul George. Paul George, like a lot of people say he's overrated, right? Because he doesn't show up in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, playoff P. Like what was it that he was nicknamed?
Yeah, that was it. Playoff P.
Here's the thing: their best chance of winning it was probably the first year when they gave up a 3-1 lead to the Denver Nuggets under Doc Rivers.
Yeah.
I get it. The second year they made it to the conference finals, but Kawhi got hurt. They had no chance against Phoenix. And even if they did manage to like barely beat Phoenix, they weren't going to beat Giannis in the Bucks.
No. Now George is hurt, right? He's out for the year, right?
Man, Clippers are just cursed.
But they have a lot of depth. But the problem with the Clippers, I feel like they're the personnel. They don't have guys who could pass the ball. I feel like they're all one-on-one type of guys, ball handlers. Like Russell Westbrook is not a point guard that's going to like distribute the ball. Guys like that, Reggie Jackson, same thing. That's been the knock on the Clippers this season is that they don't have guys who can distribute the ball.
Well, this is the problem with these big market teams is like they have all this money and go for not just like the stars, but they go for the best role players. And the thing
Yeah.
is that like it causes like all these problems.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of the things Golden State did well with when they put their team together is like a lot of the role players you really aren't exactly household names for role players.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's really no like problem or chemistry problems with those Golden State Warrior teams. It's kind of the same thing with the Bucks the year the Bucks won the championship.
I mean, I'm looking at the roster right now. I don't even know who their point guards are. Who the hell is Moon? Who the hell is this guy? Xavier Moon. Jason Preston. They don't have any freaking point guards. The hell? I feel like the roster, the construction of the roster needs some work because like it doesn't feel. It feels like it does. Looks like they don't gel well with that roster. I mean, they have no. I can't even. Yeah, they have no point guard I've ever heard of. They got a bunch of small forwards. Look at this: Batum, Boston Jr., Coffey, Covington, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Norman Powell. I know they're listed as small forwards. And obviously, they play other positions because basketball these days is not really position. It's more position. It's more positionless, right? You just gotta list what position they play, right, on the card, right? But it's more positionless, right? But like seriously, it's and individual base basketball does not work in the playoffs.
No, it does not.
And I'll say this: if Dallas does make the playoffs, they won't go far because they play no defense.
Oh, they can lose in the first round.
Yeah, defense wins championships in any sport.
Look, it's going to be established that if they do make the playoffs, they're either going to get the 7th or 8th seed. They're going to lose to either Denver or Memphis.
Memphis plays defense.
I mean, look, Memphis may be an unlikable team, but at least they play defense.
Yeah, they do. They do. Denver, I think, plays defense. Well, they're not top 10, but they're 12th in defense points per game, so they still relatively good. Memphis. I know Memphis plays good defense. They're 8th, so they're top 10. Yeah, where's Dallas's defense? They're 15th, but the problem is their points per game is 17th, but the defense is 15th. So is that really a good discrepancy there? Like a good. It's just that Doncic, I think their best players are not good defenders. I always believe your superstar players should always lead on defense too, even if they're not good defenders, right? At least try. And that's my problem with Harden was. Harden was a great, obviously tremendous offensive player, especially when he was in Houston. But let's be honest, he did get the benefit of the calls a lot, which you don't get now, right? Because he kind of changed that rule. As you know, right? They changed that rule, right? You know they changed it because of the Harden rule. It was basically the Harden rule. But what pissed me off about Harden, why I feel like Houston could have done something much better in the playoffs, and they had their chances. We all know they could have gone to the finals. If Harden led on defense, tried harder defense, I feel like they could have gone somewhere. I always used to believe that if your superstar tries on defense, and like I said, you don't have to be the best defender. You don't have to be a good defender. But as long as you try, your team picks up on that. Because your team always looks at your superstar. And there's sometimes there's a misconception that your superstar is always a team leader, right? But your superstar is the one that should lead the team, right? Should lead the team. Because as everybody on the team gets their hopes behind when you're losing, right? Or winning, that your superstar is gonna help you catch up or keep you in the lead.
Mm-hmm.
Lead by example.
Yeah. Some people just are not leaders.
Yeah.
You can be so talented, but you're never going to be a leader.
Yeah. That's why I feel like Kevin Durant is. I feel like Durant's so damn talented. I just don't feel like he's a leader. I don't feel like Kyrie. Obviously, Kyrie is not a leader. There's just you just know those guys. Are you watching March Madness?
Some of it. The
Yes.
funny thing, I'm not going to mention the player's name because of this reason. There's a player in March Madness that has the exact same name as a kid that like we work with in our school.
Mm-hmm.
Like the name is the first and last name. I'm not going to mention the name because I don't want to dox.
Of course not.
Especially a kid, but it's really interesting.
Oh, yeah. I don't even like Final Four is Connecticut. I don't know. Florida. I don't know. All the first seeds are eliminated. I like that. I like it when the underdog wins. It's more exciting. It makes the sport more exciting. What other basketball related news is there? I mean, wonder what Stephen A. Smith's going to talk about tomorrow.
Oh, I know Undisputed. They're going to talk about the Lakers as always.
Yeah, the Lakers lost to
the Bulls.
I mean, yeah, the Bulls. I mean, the Bulls are battling, right?
Yeah, the Bulls are battling. The Bulls are a frustrating team. It's like they play very well against the good teams.
Yeah.
But then they play very mid when it comes to the
like
mid
Bulls,
to bad teams.
I feel like the Bulls should have a better record than their record is right now.
Well, they should. The first problem they have is their point guard Lonzo Ball's been out.
Yeah, he was the glue to their defense, right? I mean, they're still good defensively, 7th, but their points per game is bad.
Well, the thing is, like Lonzo was really improved his 3-point shot and was a good distributor.
The problem is, your two best players are Zach LaVine and Derrick Rose. I know they're both averaging 25 points per game, but they're not exactly guys that get you a championship. That's DeMar DeRozan's knock in Toronto.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that one. I think the other thing is like their center has not lived up to.
No, he was better in Orlando.
Yeah, he's better in Orlando.
Yeah, just whatever his name is. Yeah, that's true. I think Lonzo Ball does hurt. Obviously, I mean, he's not going to give. He's not offensively like. He's not tremendous offensively, obviously, but he's good. He has length. He's good defensively, and he's a good passer.
But also, again, he did improve his offense. So,
yeah, he did.
Right when he was finally becoming a very good offensive player, this happens.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look, the Pelicans got a good trade for Davis, though. I'll say that. Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, and I think there's one more player, but I forget who. But that was a good trade. Like Brandon Ingram turned out to be good. But I still would make that trade for Davis. But Zion Williamson is the new Anthony Davis of New Orleans anyway. Oh, wait, George. What was Anthony Davis' nickname again? Street Clothes?
Yeah, Street Clothes.
Are we gonna give it to Zion Williamson too?
Like Street Clothes 2.0.
He basically is, right? Like, so he is. He is basically Anthony Davis in New Orleans again.
It's a sad situation, but it's like when you get hurt so many times and you're on the bench all the time. Like, what else are you going to be called?
Oh yeah. I mean, Portland got screwed twice. Greg Oden and Brandon Roy. Remember?
Yeah, no, that was another.
Wasn't Oden drafted first overall and Durant was second, right?
Oden was first and it was Durant.
Yeah, Portland could have had Durant, right? But Durant went to Seattle because I remember Durant played 1 year in Seattle. Yeah. Imagine that. Oh my God. Yeah, I remember. Let's see what else is there. Let's see. Okay, so I think Golden State won. Yeah, Minnesota just beat Golden State. They won. They beat Golden State. So let's see the standings in the NBA. They might just be updated.
I think they're now the 6th seed.
Minnesota just moved up to the 7th seed. And Golden State's the 6th seed. Minnesota moved up to the 7th seed. Yep. Well, Minnesota got Towns back. That would definitely help. But I think Edwards is out, right? Anthony Edwards?
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh, no. Oh, he's not. Maybe let me check. Let me check just to make sure. Because Edwards is good, though. Did you see the movie Hustle with Adam Sandler?
No, I haven't.
You should check it out. With Bruno. No. With Anthony Edwards is in it. Okay, let's see if Anthony Edwards did play. No, Edwards did not play. Yeah, I think he's hurt. Well, no, he did play 13 minutes. Yeah, so they got a decent team with Towns back. They got a chance to be dangerous now. Now, I think Conley was a solid addition to that team. A veteran point guard who's not. I mean, he's not the Conley of old when he was in Memphis, but I think he's still the leadership qualities. Like he's very. I feel like Conley at one point is very underrated as a point guard.
Well, what was the name of the name? Sorry.
Anthony Edwards is in Hustle. Hustle is on Netflix.
Oh yeah.
Adam Sandler.
Yeah, I still gotta see that film. I heard it was really good though.
It was good. It was good. But yeah, as I said, like Mike Conley, I felt like for his whole career he was very underrated.
Yeah, Conley. That was the one I was asking for. Yeah, Conley's definitely underrated. Should have been on a few All-Star teams.
Yeah, it's just he played in the West, and they had like Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Chris Paul. It was just a very stacked James Harden, right? And it was just a very stacked Damian Lillard,
Steph Curry,
Klay Thompson. It was a very stacked guard position in the West when Conley was around during his best days in Memphis. It's just, yeah. He didn't put up the points like they did, right? He was not like a 25 to 30 point scorer. He was more like in the teens to maybe the low 20s. But he did play defense. He did pass the ball. I mean, he was a solid point guard. Maybe not like a superstar, but maybe a couple All-Star appearances he should have had, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, to me that's. But you know what? Minnesota got a good veteran leader in Conley. He was a Memphis like Marcus Gasol and Zach Randolph. Zach Randolph really matured in Memphis because his problem he wasn't mature. I mean, he was on the Knicks. He wasn't mature on the Knicks.
Yeah.
I remember when you remember when Steph Marbury and Steve Francis went to the Knicks? That's when the career ended, man.
Yeah, that was like a career-ending move for them.
Yeah, I know. Stephon Marbury wanted to go to the Knicks because he's from the New York, New Jersey area, right? That's where he's from, right?
Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure that.
Yeah. Rutgers Park. You know that area. Everybody knows Rutgers Park, man. If you don't know Rutgers Park, then you're not paying attention to basketball. Is it Stephen Marbury? Stephen Marbury was traded for Kidd, right? That was the New Jersey Phoenix trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. mean, Steph Curry was probably a little better offensively than Jason Kidd, but Jason Kidd probably brought defense, passing, and more leadership qualities, even though Jason Kidd has been known to be a kind of a jerk. And I'm not sure if there's stuff off the court that he's been accused of. I think there was. Wasn't there with Jason Kidd?
I know, like, off the court, he's had problems.
Yeah. I mean, he's obviously a good coach. He's actually a pretty good coach, Jason Kidd. If you go, because this is his third team, right? Phoenix is he coaching Phoenix? No, he's not coaching Phoenix.
He coached Milwaukee.
Well, he coached Milwaukee and Brooklyn. Now he's coaching. He's not coaching a good team right now, right?
Yeah, no, he's not coaching a good team. Last year they were a good team, but this year they haven't been.
Who was he coaching now again? He's not coaching Houston, San Antonio, Portland. Isn't he coaching Dallas?
Yeah, he's coaching Dallas. That's what I mean. His team was good last year. His team's not good this year.
You'd be like, guys, I'm gonna play point guard for you guys. I'm gonna be coach / player, play point guard. They should move Doncic to like small forward. Like seriously. Because he doesn't play like a point guard. I mean, right now a lot of point guards are like score first at one point. Because back in the 90s and 80s and 70s, point guards are known to be mostly pass first, right, all the time. But as they evolve, point guards have developed into more of a scorer, right?
Yeah.
And there used to be a sacrilege thing that you can't win this with a point guard that scores. Right? Like a scorer point guard, you can't really win with them. I think you can, but I think you can with it if they pass the ball too.
Yeah, no, because like it's very rare to see a point guard lead an NBA team to a championship.
Mm-hmm.
It's only been like a few occurrences, and it takes like a special kind of point guard, like Magic, like whether it's like Magic Johnson or Steph Curry.
Yeah. To me, it's either
and Isaiah Thomas, like Detroit Pistons, Isaiah.
To me, what really leads the team to championships is usually a small forward because they could play like a shooting guard and they could play like a power forward, small forwards, right? They could play like, to me, or maybe a power forward. Because I don't feel like a center can.
Not anymore. Back in the old days, centers can lead teams, but nowadays they really can't.
Yeah, I feel like a small forward these days. A small forward can, because most small forwards these days could play like a shooting guard, and some of them could play like a point guard. Because some small forwards could pass. Like Giannis is basically a small forward, but you could put him in a power forward position. You could even put him in a point guard position if you wanted to. Back in the day, you didn't really have other positions being passers.
Yeah, well, I think the size is always a good indicator.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to end it here. Thank you, George, for coming for basketball talk. We'll do this again next week. We'll do an update on the standings. So we're getting close to the season's end. Same with the NHL. We'll see if there's any football news. But yeah, go ahead, George. Plug yourself.
You can find me at the George. I did my review on John Wick Chapter 4 yesterday, and I'm trying to figure out what's next for my channel. What's the next review? Because I'm taking a break from going to the movie theater this weekend because I need one. But yeah, you can find me at the George. And I'll put my channel link down here. Here we go.
All right. I think you're a mod on here, aren't you? Yeah, you're.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't put your mod on
Oh.
here.
Oh no, I'm not a mod on here yet.
Oh. No, I think you're now. I think you are now. Try
All
it.
right, I'll try it now. No, I'm still not. Oh, now I am.
Okay. I thought I put your mod on here.
No, on your regular channel, I am.
You know. Thank you. So for me, guys, on my main channel tomorrow night, if I decide I already set up a stream, but there's a chance it may not go on tomorrow night. But if just in case, there's late night pop at episode 11 on my main channel. We're going to talk about something a little different from typical Marvel DC stuff. We're going to talk about something that's very successful. It's having a successful weekend box office, and that's John Wick. But we're going to go into more detail. We're going to talk about the John Wick universe expanding, because as you know, we're getting the Ballerina and we're getting the Continental. So we're going to talk about the universe of John Wick expanding, if you're all in for it or not. And we're going to talk about a little bit after about Jonathan Majors. I mean, there's a big update came out earlier today about Jonathan Majors and his whole situation. It may be seem that Jonathan Majors, despite what people said about him coming out saying about him, but it might seem Jonathan Majors might be innocent in this situation, what's going on with him, with this woman. He might be actually innocent. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. See, I told you, that's why we don't jump the gun, guys. Because there were some people jumping the gun. Remember that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, thank you.
We jumped the gun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you. Like, share, subscribe, and comment below for the replay. Thank you all. Thank you for watching Sports Mayhem. Thank you.
Peace.